Hello friends, Harmeet this side back again. So welcome to my channel. So we were talking about full stack development via PHP, and then we talked about in last session the basic integration between HTML and PHP, right? If you remember. And if I'll show you the basic stuff, the which we did last is this, wherein we talk about like how we can have head tag, and then how we can have your body, and within the body we just plotted PHP and HTML and again PHP, right? So in this session, let's try something else, wherein like we'll see another flavor of you can say integration between your HTML and your PHP part, right? So for that, let me remove this piece. And let's plot our form tag, right? Remember, I'm sure that in HTML we know form tag, and the idea of having form tag is to give user a freedom to enter something, to select something. I'm sure in some sites like Naukri or even Gmail or any other site, you must have seen different text boxes, radio buttons, your drop downs as well. So where one can select specific value, or one can enter some information as well, right? Even if you talk about some feedback form, yes, you must have seen that there is an area they have given to us where we can put up some sort of information, right? So that's what exactly we are talking about, the form part. So when we talk about form, so there are two things, right, which I'm sure you guys are aware of. So one is method, so which could be get or could be your post as well, right? So if we are talking about get, so means we would like to uh, share information via query string. But when it comes to post, so we know that is from internal, so we are going to share information across the forms, right? So then we talk about action as well, right? So action especially is the name of the file to which we have to proceed further. So currently, like in current scenario, so we don't want to specify any names. First, we will see how without the file name things will work, and later we'll move on. If we have to provide some file name, so what would be the procedure? So let's say enter let's say your name, something like that, right? And this is just a simple text, you can say, right? So then further I can say input, let's say type equals to text, and let's say name equals to, let's say txt name or whatever, like, because the idea is to give some sort of naming to your control, right? So that is the basic idea. Fine. And do remember always that while working with PHP, so we should go with name. Whereas when you talk about JavaScript, so mainly it plays with your ID. But when it comes to PHP, so we have to give some name property. So name is a property, type is a property, right? So we have to give this name when we are working with your PHP part, right? Now, just below to this text box, let's provide some sort of button, because if you give button only, then this method action will go for, right? I'm sure you guys are aware of there are two type of buttons, right? So one we can say input type equals to button, and then one we can say input type equals to submit. And submit is far powerful as compared to plain button actually, right? Because the submit triggers your post and action, whereas button doesn't, right? That's the basic part, right? So let's say I'm saying click here, like this and then this, right? Now, even if I'll say, let's say I've saved it, and then if I go back and then I'm refreshing this, so it's like simple thing, right? So we have one text box, one label kind of thing, one text box would be there, and then I'm something called your button also, right? So let's say I'm saying Aman Verma, for example, when I'm clicking, nothing is happening, right? Just the page is getting refreshed. So this is the HTML part, right? Where we just created the post specification and your basic, you can say, addition of your text box and a button. So let's plot your PHP part. So let's say, for example, if I have to fetch the value, so let me fetch directly. Let's say UN equals to how we can fetch the value of text box placed within form. So I can simply say dollar underscore post, and within the square bracket, I have to use the same variable name which I have given to your text box, right? So let me copy this txt name and let me put it across here, and then this, and then I can simply say echo you have You have entered, and we can simply say, let's say echo, and then you entered, let's say dot, and then let's say $UN. That's it, right? Let me save it. Let me go back to browser. Let me refresh. See, the point which, if you consider current code, so directly it renders this HTML and start working on this PHP right immediately. Now the point is, as we don't have anything there in this txt name as of now, so nothing would be there in this UN, and that's why when you're trying to fetch the same content, so line number 11 is displaying some error, because from that perspective, it's just trying to identify nothing would be there, right? I'll show you how to rectify this, but just let me put some value in that. Let's say Aman Verma, for example. I'm clicking on the button, so things are working fine. So as far as the resultant is concerned, when I'm clicking on the button, so it's working pretty fine. But if I'll talk about for the first time when I'm running this, so in that case, yes, nothing like you are getting some sort of error out there, right? So how to rectify this? See, very important, simple, very important thing that you have to remember is that you are displaying the values directly as the for the first time when the form is running, so nothing would be there. So you should try to protect in with by putting some logic also, right? So let's do that part. So let's say if this your server, and then within that, let's say request underscore method, and if it is equivalent to, let's say, post, only then hit this piece, right? Otherwise, there is no need. So I saved it again, and then I let me refresh. See, nothing is there initially. But let's check whether still is working or not. So let's say Akash Verma. I'm clicking this. Yes, it's working pretty fine. So I would say, first we are going to check that is it the request method which somebody is like about to click or trigger? Is it the post method or not? And then with this, we are just retrieving the value of a variable declared or defined within your HTML, right? And the idea is that we are just saying that just pick up the value and display the information of the variables which we have defined, right? So precisely, first we have to use this global variable, right? Dollar underscore server. And then through this parameter, we are just saying we need to look onto request method. And if it is equivalent to post, just get the value and hold it in a variable called un, which is the normal variable. And then we are just saying you entered and then concatenation and then just the variable name as well, right? That's it. Fine. So I hope guys like we get the idea of another version of your HTML as well as PHP integration, and then I'm sure we'll get the idea that how we can pick up the value of a text box which we have like placed within your HTML, right? Fine. So thanks guys. So if you have any queries, so please drop me within the comment box, and then I'll try to get back immediately within the same itself, right? Thanks guys. Have a nice day. Yeah.